I've been thinking about making this commentary for a while now. And when I say a while, I mean like maybe 2 or 3 months on, just life in general, how it can just fuck you over, but make you just the better man or woman you could ever be. And this dates back to when I was 17 years old, and it's kind of a long story, so just bear with me. I finally have the guts to talk about it, and a lot of people have been asking me, hey Matt, why you disappeared from YouTube? Where did you go? What did you do? I gave you a little bit of the backstory, and now I think it's finally time to give you the whole truth of God's honest truth. So back when I was 17, obviously the story starts with an ex-girlfriend and, that young love shit. Even though you guys argued every day and you always had a problem with each other, it was just that young fake love, that puppy dog love that everybody loved. So we were like 17 years old, happy-go-lucky kind of shit, and we ended up living together. I'm not going to get into her life story because that does not matter, but things happened that we started living together, and we started playing house for a little while, and we were together for about 2 years before we were, well, not forced, but until we had to make an escape to Pennsylvania because my mom and my stepfather had ended up getting a divorce, and we just could not handle the bills, so we went to go start a new life in New York City. So we all ended up moving down to New York, me, my ex-girlfriend, and my mother. And we ended up living with my uncle, and we all started working, and we all just started trying to make a life for ourselves. So we ended up getting a place in New York City, in Queens, and things just started flowing, things just started happening, and my mother convinced my ex-girlfriend just to go to school, and I ended up taking over the bills, and I ended up making sure all the bills were paid, and I did my best. But during this time I was very depressed, and I don't know what it was. Maybe it could have been that I was with someone at such a young age, or maybe it could have just been that I wasn't where I wanted to be. But I ended up letting her go to school. I ended up letting her get her shit together while I just worked, because I was in a construction company at the time, and I was making all right money for myself. And even though I did not want to go to work because I was on drugs and drinking and smoking every day and popping pills, but I ended up being a very different and maybe you could even say very absent-minded person about all his surroundings and what was going on around him. So my ex-girlfriend ended up graduating college to be a dental assistant. She ended up landing actually a really good job, and what happened was that my father actually gave us $5,000 to move to a different place because we didn't want to live in the place that we were in anymore. We were in a basement, we were cramped, so my mother ended up moving in with my grandmother, and me and my ex-girlfriend just ended up being in a nice little studio apartment, paying almost nothing for rent for the place that we had, especially in New York City. And we began to live, and I was still working in a construction company. I was planning on getting my life together. And like I said, once she landed this job, we got the $5,000. We ended up living in the place that we were, and, things just started falling together. So maybe 6 months, 7 months later, after her getting this job, I noticed a little cocky attitude coming in from her. I noticed the change in the person who she was. And we've always argued, but it's like, when you guys are arguing really bad, and it's just a different kind of argument. And I was blind to the fact of what I was going on around me because I was always high, I was always on pills, and I was just never clean. I could never land another job because I was never clean, trying to cope away from the things that were going on in my own head and making me go crazy. But that's just me. So that was my scapegoat, all the things that I used to do and all the things that I used to say just to get away from my life. I was a very, very evil fucking person. Not towards her specifically, but I was just very heartless. Maybe because the things that happened in my childhood, maybe, it could have been a whole bunch of things. But a couple of months later, it was about Valentine's Day, and we were going through a very rough patch in our relationship. And, I noticed she always kept talking about a person that she did not like, apparently. She always was just talking shit about this one person, this guy. 29 years old, bald, no future. No GED, no nothing. I don't have a GED now, but I plan on getting one, but no future at all. No goals in life, just to be a porter all day long and just live the rest of his life doing that. And I noticed she always talked about this guy, always. It was just something about this guy, and we ended up going through a little rough patch in our relationship. And Valentine's Day came by, and we were actually planning on moving our separate ways. And I finally realized what was going on for longer than I expected, because this couldn't have happened overnight, when I had about 12 roses hidden under the couch and I wanted to make up, and she came home with a rose, and that was just the ending of the whole relationship. That was just the ending of us. So I ended up going out to a bar with JD from NY. I think a couple of days before, a couple of days after, I'm not completely sure, but I ended up meeting someone on the way back home. I don't know if you guys remember Subway Stories, when I got with a 32-year-old chick, a woman 10 years older than me. I don't know if you guys remember that Subway Stories, but I thought it was a good one. So we ended up talking for a little while. I got her number drunk that night. Going back home, I was completely shit-faced, and I ended up calling her the next day. We ended up talking, and we ended up becoming actually pretty close. And I can honestly say that even though me and her didn't work out, we could have been really good friends, because she was just a kind-hearted, great person to be around, a lot of energy. And if it wasn't that I was going through my own shit, we probably would have been able to work. But things had ended up happening. My ex ended up coming back into my life, and just a whole bunch of things started happening. So I was basically homeless after this for a little while, not too long. I was bouncing from house to house. I was continuing to do drugs. I was continuing to be high, and just continuing to hide and escape from the life that I was living in. I ended up staying in my cousin's house for a little while, but things didn't work out there, and it all came down to my family not really trusting me anymore. And I know this now, and I completely understand and respect the fact that they didn't trust me, because I was doing a lot of grimy shit. So basically was sleeping in a truck, slept on the train a couple of times, and I said enough is enough. I'm gonna stop being a victim of my own life, and I'm gonna end up moving forward. So my first thing was I got clean. I haven't smoked weed in almost a year now. I haven't really drank like that. Like, I go out here and there, and I don't really drink anymore. I went out with JD from NY maybe 3-4 weeks ago, and I ended up I ended up only having one drink, which was, I was able to control myself. I haven't smoked. I haven't done anything. And, things have ended up changing. So that was my first order of business. Let me just stop. I ended up getting out of the construction company I was in, because even though I was making good money, I needed to get paid on time to be able to pay my bills. And that's where a lot of things have ended up happening. I think that's where a lot of the problems came. I ended up losing the construction company job too, and then I ended up getting it back, and I ended up, getting this security job, which doesn't pay that much. But, I can honestly say now that I'm in a better state of mind, and I'm happier where I am now than I was 6-7 months ago. I can say that even though I am not making as much money, and I'm not, living on my own, which I am completely used to with another female, or just living alone in general, I can honestly say that I'm happier where I am right now. And I can honestly say that I'm more comfortable where I'm at right now. I still have my little problems, because I live in a studio with my mother and my grandmother, but, there's not much you can do about that. You only can move forward. So, I know New Year's is coming up, and I know a lot of you are celebrating Christmas, and I want to say Merry Christmas to you all. And if I don't make a video for New Year's, I want to say Happy New Year's. And the last and final thing I want to say is my New Year's resolution, which will be to continue moving forward in my life. I'm aiming for a better job. I'm aiming to get my education, and I'm aiming to be able to live again. I'm aiming to not have to worry about how much money is in my pocket, and aiming to be able to just go out and have fun and live my life, because I'm only 23 years old, and that has been robbed. I ended up taking care of someone else and not worrying about myself, which is my own fault, because whether I like it or not, I'm in this spot because of me, and I've been able to admit myself. I've been able to admit that to myself, that I'm in this situation because of me and only me. I am the creator of my future. I am the only person that can control my future. So if anybody should be to blame, it is myself. I see a lot of people nowadays blaming other people for them not being successful, or it's either the color of my skin, or you know, it's because I'm this way, or it's because I look this type of way. And I could honestly say, man, if you're not successful in your own life, it's because you're not doing the correct thing. You know, we all have to push forward, and we all have to do some fucking push-ups, you know what I mean, to get stronger. And you know, this year has been a great wake-up call for me, and I feel like God put this hump in my life to make me realize and learn my mistakes in life. And I feel like he has helped me out dearly to realize who I am and who I want to be. And he's helped me realize not to give away my heart so easily next time, and to set up that boundary between me and other people, and you know, not let everybody in, because I feel like I was just too caring, and I was just too good to other people, and I was treating myself like shit. And that was the biggest problem. I was good to everybody else, but I wasn't good to me. I let myself get to 300 pounds, for Christ's sakes. You know, would I let my family member do that to themselves? No. You know, I would try to help them the best way I could. So I treated myself like shit, and I can honestly say that. But if you guys are still here, I don't want to get, you know, I don't want to really just want to keep rambling, but I just want to thank you guys for subbing to the new channel. You know, it's been great. You guys have been a huge motivation for me. You guys have helped me through so much. You just don't know. You don't know. And I want to give a quick shout out to Marquise and Omen and Beauregard Skills, and you know, everybody who's known this story for a long time, especially you, Marquise. You've known a lot, man. We've been on Skype countless times, and we've been able to talk, and you know, I've even cried to you, man. And I want to thank Omen. You know, thank you guys for being there. You know, thank you for always picking up that Skype call when I needed you. You know, that's just the craziest thing. You know, thank you guys so much. I can't thank you guys enough. You know, Bori always had my back, you know, keeping the trolls off of me, keeping people off of my back while I was going through my own thing. I have to say honestly that I thank you guys with everything I have in my heart. And I have to just say, for the people who are here now, thank you, you know, so much for the motivation. You know, Steve's Cod Vision, Mikey Freakout, Rachel, you know, I can't name all of you, but you guys know who you are. And, you know, thank you. And I hope you guys have a great Christmas, and I hope you guys have a happy new year. And this has been your boy, MaTTMuRDA. Peace.